Cluck TV presents A Closer Look with Al Travis, sharing how they select the stories featured on Destination Small Town. Good day, Al Travis, Cluck TV News Director. Basically, it is my job to decide what makes it to Destination Small Town and what does not. We get hundreds of requests all the time, people telling us about great little things we should come see or take a look at. We even get some from right here in Sweet Swine County, like this story about the original Andy Warthog paintograph that was donated to the Sweet Swine County Museum. Yeah, that's not making the cut. Not when you have museums like this. Just in Chanute, Kansas itself, this beautiful museum, it is fantastic. It's something you just got to take a look at. If you ever thought about what it would have been like to small boat across the Pacific, or photograph lions in the safari in Africa, or climbing Mount Kenya, or flying over dangerous uncharted territory in Borneo, you can experience it and lots more through the lives of Martin and Osa Johnson. Documentary filmmakers, photographers, explorers, naturalists, and authors, the Johnsons traveled the world from 1917 to 1936, when few Americans ventured beyond our shores. And it's all documented at the #1 ranked museum in Kansas, the Martin and Osa Johnson Safari Museum. He was brave, daring, sincere, and epitomized the American values of hard work and resourcefulness. He was a master filmmaker who pioneered wildlife cinematography in some of the most untamed regions of the world. He was also a showman who knew how to fill theaters with audiences eager to see the films of his latest adventures. She was beautiful, photogenic, charming, a crack shot, and enjoyed high adventure. She had no equal when it came to tracking wildlife and organizing the logistics of complex safaris. Yet she was no tomboy. Her elegant wardrobe and great stage presence earned her the title of one of the best-dressed women in America. Men and women on 3 continents admired her. Together, Martin and Osa Johnson were acclaimed filmmakers, photographers, and explorers. They were American heroes who, in the style of Richard Byrd and Charles Lindbergh, brought the adventure and fascination of Africa and the South Pacific into the homes of millions of Americans. We're lucky enough to get Conrad, the director of the museum, on satellite to ask him a couple of quick questions. Conrad, how did Martin and Osa actually meet?
When he returned to Independence, Kansas, he began doing a series of travelogue lecture programs in southeast Kansas. It was at that time that mutual friends set him up on a date with Osa Leedy of Chanute, Kansas. Something magical must have happened because a short time later they eloped in 1910.
All right, give me one of the most interesting facts about Martin and Osa that most folks don't know.
Good question. If you don't mind, I'll share a few quick examples. Osa Johnson's autobiography, I Married Adventure, was the #1 best-selling nonfiction in 1940, and it is still in print today in English and Spanish. The original editions, with its eye-catching zebra-striped covers, are very collectible today. The largest display of Martin and Osa Johnson photographs in the United States outside of this museum is actually at Walt Disney World at Animal Kingdom Lodge in Florida. Lastly, I guess I should add that Osa, because of her exploration and daring work, was an inspiration and still is today for young women to follow their dreams. It is because of this continuing interest that clothing lines like to use Osa as the inspiration for some of their seasonal lines. Just some interesting quick facts. Thank you.
What's actually the biggest attraction at the museum?
In terms of size, it's actually the building that we're in. This is a beautifully renovated Santa Fe train depot that once housed a Harvey House restaurant and now is home to the Safari Museum and Chanute Public Library. Our museum also does have a rather large ethnographic collection and research archives. However, it really is certainly the story of Martin and Osa Johnson that is the biggest attraction, the biggest draw, appeal. The Johnsons' life is a story of adventure and travel and romance and exotic locations back in the golden age of safaris in the 1920s and 30s.
And how did the museum get started?
Because the Johnsons had no children and Osa's mother, Belle Leedy, outlived both of them, she became the heir of their stuff, their films, photographs, manuscripts, books, and that was what was used to create the core of the Martin and Osa Johnson Safari Museum when it opened in 1961. We moved to our current location, the historic depot in Chinook, Kansas in 1993.
And before we let you go, what kind of educational programs does the museum offer?
Through our education department, museum curator Jacqueline Borgeson Zimmer offers a wide range of different educational programs, both in-house and outreach for students and families. This ranges everything from school tours to traveling trunks and travelogues to events throughout the year. Additionally, the museum has a number of the Johnsons movies transferred onto DVD that visitors can view at any time.
Well, Conrad, thank you for your time and a look at the Martin and Osa Johnson Safari Museum. This is the #1 ranked museum in Kansas. It's the Martin and Osa Johnson Safari Museum, featuring award-winning exhibits of the Johnsons' lives and adventures, African cultures, and changing themes. The museum offers visitors educational programs for children and adults throughout the year, and a regular showing of the Johnson films, a large research library, and the Osa's Ark Museum Shop. Stop in next time you're in southeastern Kansas. Thank you again. I appreciate your time, Conrad. I'll just tell the folks again, be sure to stop in and see the Martin and Osa Johnson Safari Museum, or check them out online at www.safarimuseum.com.
Just another great example of a great story from a small town. Catch them all on DestinationSmallTown.com.